contains dirt and grit. Clean the axle thoroughly with brush and kerosene. Put the wheel on the axle. Crack the hubcap with heavy axle grease. This will lubricate the entire wheel assembly. Replace the lynch collar and the axle pin. Put on a new sandband. The new sandband fits securely around the flange of the boxing and seals the whole assembly against dirt and dust. As the hubcap is screwed onto the wheel, the grease is forced along the axle, through the boxing, and into the sandbag. If the wheel is fitted for a grease gun, it may be lubricated in this manner. The other wheels of the plough should also be checked for boxing wear. The rear furrow wheel shows no evidence of excessive wear. But in the landslide wheel, the amount of play indicates worn parts in the power lift assembly. Remove the landside wheel. Then disengage the trip lever from the power lift assembly and slide the assembly off the axle. Remove the Woodruff key. The parts of the power lift are disassembled to inspect them for wear. The old Paul roller from the assembly is burned and worn and must be replaced with a new one. Likewise, the old Woodruff key is worn thin and should be replaced. Before assembling the new parts, clean the power lift plate thoroughly with a brush and kerosene and remove all old grease. Clean the ball holder in the same way. Also the ball foot lever. To reassemble the power lift, first put in the bottom ball holder. Then the ball rivet. Place the ball roller over it, and with the pin, fasten in the top part of the ball holder. Then, turn the power lift assembly over, and fasten the trip lever in place by a cotter key in the pin. In the same manner, swell the rivet on the opposite end to fasten the trip lever in place. A new ball spring is put in the assembly, and the new Woodruff key is inserted in the axle. The repaired power lift can then be slipped into position. The land side wheel is now replaced. On this plowshare, the point has been badly worn, and the curve toward the land or side suction eliminated. Likewise, the downward curve or bottom suction has been reduced. The share must be removed for reconditioning. Loosen the nut on the eye bolt. Then detach it from the share. Also, loosen the bolt which goes through the share. The share will now slide off the frog over which it has been fitted. The plowshares should be taken for sharpening and repair to an expert. It is always advisable to have the work done by a qualified blacksmith. He is equipped to sharpen, repoint, and set the plowshare to any desired amount of side and bottom suction. After the shares have been sharpened and repointed, they are ready to be replaced on the plow. Slide the share onto the frog. Fit the eyeball over the peg on the underside of the share and tighten the nut. Now, tighten the share bolt. Be sure the connections are made secure. The new point has restored the necessary bottom suction or downward curve. Also the land side suction or curve. With the land side wheel blocked up 6 inches, and with all other supports removed, lower the buttons to place the plow in typical plowing position. Check the hub of the coulter to see that it lies directly above the point of the share. If it does not, it must be adjusted. To move the coulter into position, loosen the bolts of the mounting assembly. Partially tighten one bolt to hold the coulter in place while the adjustment is checked. With If it needs adjusting, first loosen the bolt and tap the stem into position. The coulter should be exactly 3 inches above the point of the share. Next, the coulter must be adjusted for landside position. The coulter should be set about 1/2 inch from the share point toward the land. Now that all adjustments of the coulter have been made, tighten the bolts securely. Be sure to tighten the stem collar set screw. In order to find the center of resistance of the plow, measure up 2 inches from the plow share. Then measure 2 inches in from the land side. This point is the center of resistance of the plow button. With a square, measure the distance to the land side of the other button. Add 2 inches. A point at 1/2 of this distance, 7 inches, is the center of draft. A line from this point, parallel to the plow button, is the line of draft. The hitch should fall exactly on the line of draft. If it does not, the hitch must be adjusted to the line of draft. To adjust the hitch, remove the hitch bolts. Now, adjust the hitch to the line of draft. Be sure that both hitch bolts are securely tightened. As with all other farm machinery, the plow should be cleaned and painted before storage. This will prolong its life and reduce the cost of upkeep and repair. Use a stiff wire brush to help remove rust and corrosion, so that the protective coating of paint will adhere to the plow. Sandpaper should be used to remove any remaining rust or corrosion. With a rag dipped in kerosene, clean all grease and bottom matter from the surfaces to be painted. To prepare a 1/2 gallon of the prime coat, which will provide a foundation for the finished coat, measure out a 1/2 pint of raw linseed oil. And place in a container for mixing. Apply the prime coat to all surfaces that are to be painted. Be sure to work the paint thoroughly around all bolts and nuts and into crevices. Apply a good grade of hard enamel implement paint for the finished coat. The plow is now ready for storage. When the plowing season begins, a few minor adjustments may be necessary. If the rear furrow wheel tends to climb out of the furrow, it is not rolling in the corner of the furrow. be running in line with the heel of the land side. To correct it, adjust the guide rod. When the plow is set in motion, the wheel will come into alignment. The furrow wheel now rides in the corner of the furrow wall directly behind the heel. With the set screw, adjust the height of the furrow wheel. This places the heel 1/2 inch above the furrow floor and away from the furrow wall. Now be sure to tighten the lock nut to secure the adjustment. Check the front furrow wheel. There should be a 2 or 3 inch clearance between the wheel and the furrow wall so that the plow will take a full cut without being overloaded. With these adjustments and regular maintenance, your plow will give you many years of efficient service.